Greetings, this is Jesse from Nintendo Dads with part 3 of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus Side Stories. This afternoon should wrap up all the side stories. So we have Reflection parts 1 and 2, Self-Love parts 1 and 2, and then there'll be another chapter that opens up once those are done. I don't remember what that's called, but we'll find out. Am I bothering you? No? Okay, just checking. It's hard to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place, then you're more ready to socialize, even if it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social if I let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself into a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when you don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being so silly for me to keep up with. Yuri glances across the room at Shiori and Natsuki. Shiori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of a cookie that Natsuki is lobbing into the air, but the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor. Maybe I should say something. No need. They just ran out of cookie. What a waste. They've really become good friends, haven't they? I'm happy. Shiori seems particularly good at making that happen. But the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I haven't had many chances to talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be partially my fault, since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Not at all. I've probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, what about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? No, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of this series. There are still 2 more books after this one. I guess those long books suit you well since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh yeah? Even like romance? Well, there are lots of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean. Monica lowers her voice. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell anyone if you don't. Maybe more when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot, so I just kind of felt like, please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got super curious. You know, we should probably pick out a romance novel to read. That would be so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it was just between us? Try asking someone who has no shame, like Natsuki. Ouch. Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it was my fault for pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past too, you know, things I feel too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit how intense I used to be about my own interests. It makes me think that she'll likely grow out of it too. Were you talking about me? No, we're just talking about how interests have changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? A couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before, but it wasn't really going hard until then. Oh yeah? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know, I guess, let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really liked. Yeah, I was just really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be by myself. Haha. Kinda like Yuri. Monica! Oh, sorry. That's completely wrong, so it's still cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you a lot through hard times. You know it. Wow, what the heck? That book is even bigger than the last one you were reading. It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much. How high do you think you would go if you stacked up the whole series? Natsuki estimates by holding her hand high above her head, slicing up an imaginary stack. I should get one of those mangas that's like 50 volumes long so I can say I've read more than you. Haha! Not that I have the money for that. Please, that would hardly count when your books only have few words per page. You know I was joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki. It's not boring. Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion. I just think it's too convoluted. Yuri, are those from the floor? Gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. But my hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are there even if you can't see them. Fine. Yuri trots out the door, and Natsuki follows. Yuri, you look a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have to call my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows how much these mean to me. So how about just leaving me alone instead of needlessly telling the things that you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like. Excuse me. Especially in a literature club, so I should figure out how to mediate discussions and keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and also your ability to get through them so quickly. Well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some kind of common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary, I just wish to be respected. Then either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monica, but I'm skeptical. Okay, everyone, we have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we get to share things that we're really passionate about. But that also means that we should be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into something positive for each other. Aren't you being a little dramatic about this? This is important to me. Well, sorry, I just feel like I'm being accused or something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm sorry if it came off that way. But our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language, and I thought it would be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure that we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere in the club. If you say so, sure. The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when we receive our thoughts. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically anything. For example, Shiori, what's your favorite food? I have them organized by category. Should I start with snacks, or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast? Oh, jeez. Okay, how about your favorite fruit? That's easy. Cherries. Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty. What? Cherries are delicious. Whoa, that's a pretty strong reaction. Well, I just don't understand how someone could think cherries are nasty. How does it make you feel? I don't know. Sad? Defensive, maybe? Yeah, I got defensive. See, the reason you had such a strong reaction wasn't because I don't like cherries. It's because you felt your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. But when I say something like, I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are nasty. Wait, hold on. How is that objective? When you just said it was only your own opinion. It has to do with the way our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of cherries, not your feelings about them. Like Sayori, let's rewind for a second. Pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty. Good. So what if instead I said, I've tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy. Well, that's fine, as long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about cherries, I talked about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not going to quiz you or something. I know that. I was just, sorry I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you'd like. Does anyone have any thoughts so far? Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language thought into through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting that it's a tool to help you turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argumentative. Right, Sayori? Whatever you say, cherry hater. Oh, come on. Actually, see, I like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate. What the heck? I've been duped. Sorry, Sayori, I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae? You're welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president. Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable. Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought them the other week. I was reading and not keeping track of them. Okay, that's enough. We're getting off topic. So now that we have the gist of it, how about we try it with something more relevant to the club, like manga, right? Let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not know. How come? Well, because I don't see how anything productive could come from that. It's just going to start a fight. No, it'll be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's have a calm and rational discussion. Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. You don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind. Respectable? Yuri's expression changes at that word. As Monica recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri. Well, the point of the exercise isn't exactly like, it's fine. I have nothing against anyone's personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance to my reading material. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level. Oh, well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were going to say that manga's for children or something like that. I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of deep manga. I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger. What? Are you serious? How come you've never told me? Because I'm past that at my point in life, and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Excuse me? So, sidebar. Watching Roger's live reads of manga like Attack on Titan. That is pretty deep stuff. So, kind of agree with Natsuki here that, yeah, it's not just like animation. Just because this looks like a cartoon doesn't mean it's meant for 3-year-olds. Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective. Because if you imply that manga is immature, then aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it? Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki. Nobody's immature. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring. Boring isn't subjective. Okay, it bores me. That's subjective. But, I mean, the thing about this is ridiculous. Do you see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it was going to make people upset. I'm not upset! Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I always get the impression that you secretly look down upon me. So I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed. That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when no one has the least bit of respect for the thing I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business. What? Have you looked in the mirror? Yeah, they're both doing the same thing. Tell me again about respect after calling all of my interests immature. You can't. Please stop. Please. You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends. I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try to solve other people's problems next time, okay? Wow. Yuri's piercing words sends the clubroom into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Holy crap. I've never heard her sound like that before. She must be so pissed. Well, you weren't very nice either, so... I was just saying, how did this happen? It's my fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I shouldn't have tried to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am at dealing with conflicts. It was really a stupid thing for me to do. It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. No one would have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love. Honestly, she kind of brought this upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, that's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things, it's about recognizing and understanding our differences. Okay, dang. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down on me. It's nothing to do with her word choices or anything like that. So I see what you're trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her, not just the way we were talking to each other, right? I mean, Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you're giving her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this, and I actually think everyone should. It'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Wow, I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just setting myself to cause more problems. This wasn't your fault, Monica. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out, because I can just move on now. But, it's fine, I promise. Let's just get our mind off this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about feeding Yuri's superiority complex. Don't be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever you want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay? Sorry, I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but at least I know that we're all good people and don't want to hurt each other. This will be a learning experience. Monica says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force the reassuring tone of her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have always engaged with each other the least out of anyone, and this is the reason. Excuse me. As Yuri and Natsuki proceed to distract themselves with manga, Monica sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really have to just come to terms with the fact that some members will be incompatible with each other? Monica desperately doesn't want to admit that, and she knows Sayori doesn't either. But for once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. One second here. Okay, reflection part 2. A new day arrives. Sayori arrives at the club room earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. So she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. Excuse me. My lunch is still scratching my throat, apparently. Sayori has made it a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve as her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because the ship sailed away. Yo! Hi! Natsuki? Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me listening in on your poetry thing. Yeah, thanks for realizing that. Should I let you finish that up then? No, it wasn't. I mean, I just do whatever is convenient. You're not interrupting. Where's Monica, by the way? Oh, she's out in the hallway. Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come into the club room by herself, so... Oh. Jeez, does Yuri really let that thing bother her for that long? She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Ugh. I just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid. Her opinion of me doesn't matter anyway. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate that too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that'll help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had to have that conversation yesterday. What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe. I doubt it, though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got to me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen. Is it because it came from Yuri? No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I just hate that she thinks she's so much better than me, just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. At least the other people decide they don't like me, or manga, or whatever, but Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Would you give Yuri's books a chance? After this? Obviously not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. If you actually keep an open mind, then it's not too hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Yuri shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga is really honest, fun, and easy to get to just let go with. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover, and it's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. That's why I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think. How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get into fights with people. Like first it was with Monica, when I was new to the club. And then it was with you, and now Yuri. I'm always like, oh, that person is being such a jerk. If I just realized that, then we would at least get along. But no one else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everyone is just a jerk to me because no one likes me. And I don't know why. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it. Natsuki. Shiori puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways they like to communicate, you know? And sometimes that makes it hard for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and make friends who are really good at the same kind of communication, and it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other, or to get the communication wrong. It's something that Yuri struggles with a lot too. It can be really hard to take, and it takes a lot of reflection and self-awareness, and vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you. Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends, and I guess my dad. Like when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things like if my room isn't clean. So what am I going to do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then it just lets them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. It feels like if something's goes wrong, and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry and find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself as better than Yuri? If I said that, then it would just sound really full of myself. No. Our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about themselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. I hate this. My feelings make me a bad person. Because my feelings just want me to tell her that I'm so much better than her. That she's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase, and I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You are not your feelings. But you are not your feelings. Say that to yourself out loud. Fine. I am not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. And even you can ignore each other most of the time, but you're gonna run into each other now and again. And it's gonna make you feel like poop. So the other option is to get to know each other. You can communicate and learn from each other and maybe even help each other change for the better. Does that help you understand? I like this message. This entire run of side stories has good messages, and more people should be reading this stuff. And just because it's part of the DLC, there's going to be an audience that won't want to care about it. But this is good. This is good. I like this. Does that help you understand? How do you know so much about this stuff? I just have a roommate that can be really hard to get along with. Called depression. Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know. I am not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Ah, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monica. And I think Yuri will eventually learn about that about you. Natsuki remained silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Yuri's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted with a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer. Yuri, what are you doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Please don't yell at me. I'm not going to yell at you. I just want to say I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It was unfair of me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time I won't just try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. That was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument. Thanks, Nintendo. Thanks for watching. And he says, thanks, you're enjoying the additional content. I am liking this content. Like, really kind of sad when this is done. Today's the last day of the bonus content. I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay? Yuri pauses for a second and manages a nod. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thoughts and patterns, and I can't get away from them. What kind of negative thoughts and patterns? Like, everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. Oh, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how a display of maturity from Monica was enough for Natsuki to reevaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki is just naturally defensive. I think she acts mean when she feels the need to protect herself. But she's really not a bad person. In fact, I think she can be really thoughtful and considerate. She just, well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels comfortable returning it. Oh. But that means it's the burden's on me. And I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Every time I open my mouth, Yuri shakes her head and herself and tugs at her hair. It's okay, Yuri. You don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had a chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talk about me behind my back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind. So I did, and then she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. But Yuri and I like you, and we've gotten to know you a lot by now, right? Yuri doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. That's not what I mean, really. I was just wondering if you had an opinion of her. I do? What is it? Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person, so for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior, despite my tastes, that's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. And it makes me think bad things about her. but everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. My feelings about her are wrong. And I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri, feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, you know. They're just a state of being that we don't always have control over. But that doesn't mean that they have to control us. I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things, or we can, just acknowledge that they exist and try to understand them better. I could never be mad at you just for feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through the feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Yuri wears a dejected expression. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature. You're so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Oh, Yuri, I'm far from perfect. But these are learned skills. They didn't come natural to me either. It's real hard to reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it to her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know it's what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of getting in the way. I can't stand it when the place is disturbed like this. When the peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when the peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should be happy for everyone. Monica looks at Yuri in adoration. I feel like Yuri must be rubbing off on me because I really want to hug you now. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, well, if you wanted to, then I really wouldn't mind, so... Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace. You're so gentle, and I love it when you communicate your feelings. I feel lucky to get to see this side of you, and I'm sure Natsuki will too. I'm going to write her a letter. Ooh, a letter? What a great idea. Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure, I always let my feelings get the best of me and forget to say all the important things I want to say. And I say things I don't mean. Well, I think a letter would be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate. Yuri's face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate toward me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that, and I wouldn't want it to be. See, I said something similar on Twitter a few weeks ago. Kind of similar to that. Saying, I don't like things that most people like, and I'm okay with it. And in fact, I don't want to like things most people like. That's almost the same thing. But something I've learned is that friendship don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I never would have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways, but I'm friends with her because she put so much effort into understanding me so that we can get along. I think it was the same with you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience. And I wonder if she feels the same way. Natsuki? Yuri nods. I always thought if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person or a magical formula I had to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think that. Always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person, when you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them and trust them, that they also want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my observation in the literature club. Observations? Monica is caught by surprise. Yuri has always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talking about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea it meant that much to you. Monica never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri always seemed to be especially attentive when it came to the problems and concerns of others. Always wanting to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monica are naturally more comfortable with each other and can more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and the capacity to improve. And the first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but Monica can recognize that as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. A very shy girl with long pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways with her fists pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the literature club president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her before peering inside. Monica is sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monica glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decides for sure to leave, the classroom door gently opens. Yuri, what a surprise to see you during lunch. Yuri squeaks a response. Help, please help me. What, is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters. Wow, she just didn't think this through, did she? Oh, thank goodness. I thought that was some kind of emergency. Monica briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends. Do you want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends. Totally fine, I promise. We weren't really doing anything. One sec. Monica trots back to her classroom, says something like, I gotta go, to her friends, and then grabs a pen off her desk and returns to Yuri. Okay, let's find somewhere quiet. Yuri nods and follows Monica as the two of them set off. How are you today? Oh, me? Well, yes. Huh, oh gosh, sorry, I was just caught off guard. I'm doing well today, just tired. Never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? Oh, I don't know, I think I'm easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting the time. Me too, I do that too. Haha. Hey, this classroom is empty, let's go in here. After peering inside, Monica opens the classroom door and the two of them enter. Well, wait, is this going to be a new classroom? But no, it's the same classroom they used in the first game. You know, the other classroom besides the club room. Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monica pulls two chairs to the same desk, then obeys as Monica beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk. You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must be really determined. I know how hard it is to step out of your comfort zone. I'll be sure to encourage you. Yuri pushes through the anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. There's the new image. Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat. Ah, yeah. No, I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monica playfully rubs her shoulder against Yuri's. Ah, sorry, I'm just being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we start by listing the different things you want to say to her? Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. Oh, that's okay. How about some of the things you said to me yesterday? But, never mind, I guess I'll try. Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then she writes the word reflection. This is about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is, why do we act like this towards each other, but been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica? That's me. Yes, it is. So, Yuri thinks, I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. Same goes for Natsuki, too. We started off pretty hostile to each other because I was so worried about getting what I wanted, but she just wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. So what kind of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same thing for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like it when you, Sayori, try trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job at it. Let's write those things down. Okay. Yuri writes some things down. I think the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable, so we should make sure that letter puts her first. It's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they know you're ready to respect them and listen, and admit the things that you could do better. Then finally you ask what you would like in return. How does that sound for structure? It could be 3 paragraphs, one for each of those points. I like that. My thoughts were so disorganized I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're so amazing at things. Oh, stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know? You spend so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is helping you put on a piece of paper. So I think you're the amazing one. Monika gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze, but as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her finger to hook Monika's hand in place. For a while they sit like that in silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday you told me something that I'm thinking about a lot. What was that? Think about how feelings aren't right or wrong, and they're just a state of being that we need to come in terms with. It made me think about how a person's behavior isn't just how they decide to be. It's also made up of their past experiences and their insecurities. I think that helps me see other people as actual people rather than insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you feel about Natsuki? Yuri nods. But in reality, everyone's always trying their best and everyone wants to be happy. Monika peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls in closer, partially covering it with her arm. I have to be able to read it to help out, you know. It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now after being able to talk to you about it. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realize I'd prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression. I'm glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. But it's also been so wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but... Yuri smiles. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me. I'll never get the hang of being one. Haha. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things, so I just don't call it damage, please. Monika gives Yuri a gentle smile. I can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks and all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. I still can't tell with you. Sorry. No, love it. Please never change. As you wish. Yuri glances at the clock. We're almost out of time. Will you be able to finish? Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads. I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. I'm too shy. I can give it to her instead if you'd like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Yuri exhales, and the two stand up. I'll message you when it's ready. Monika nods. Good luck, I'm here if you need me. Yuri returns a nod, and the two depart. That took... I think that was probably the longest one. That took almost 45 minutes to get through. Like yesterday alone was just a little over an hour for 2 chapters. It's only been 1 day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki with Monika's help. Oh, I was hoping to be able to read the letter, like they passed a poem, but I guess not. Because Yuri chose not to attend the club meeting that day, she and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. Although it's only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she'll need to face the outcome of her efforts, whether good or bad. And because the passing of students was making her feel a little more anxious, Yuri picked out of the most secluded spot she could to spend her lunch. Because the staircase is under maintenance, no students would have any reason for coming here. It's such a relaxing feeling to have a moment of solitude in the middle of a frantic school day. Natsuki. Heep! What are you doing here? I just... Yuri grips her book with enough force to wrinkle the page beneath the pressure of her thumbs. Well, what are you doing here? I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. The other one's out of the drink I like. Yuri notices Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. She nods, avoiding eye contact. Natsuki, also looking away, shuffled over to the vending machine. So quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through the entire stairwell. After far too long, she finally receives her beverage, which then fidgets with... Blah! Why can't I read all of a sudden? Which she then fidgets with in place of the coins. It's some kind of iced tea. But instead of leaving right away, Natsuki stands up in place. She glances all around her. It's like way too quiet back here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I mean, really. I mean, it's totally cool that it's your thing or whatever. Like, I can see how it suits you, so... Not because I think you're creepy or something. I didn't mean that either. You know, I'm just going to stop talking. That seems to be a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself attempting some words of comfort after hearing Natsuki stammer herself into dejection. Seemingly in response, Natsuki approaches the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits down next to Yuri. Well, I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists off the cap of her drink and takes a sip. Despite receiving Yuri's general permission, Natsuki doesn't say anything more. Yuri continues to read, or at least pretends to. And the two just sit there for a long time. The tension seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, this seems to mean at least something, though it's not clear what that may be. Lunch ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki's the first to stand up with her empty drink bottle. Are you coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. I'm sorry for being so awkward. I'm really bad at talking about this stuff. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to eventually. There's no rush, I promise. Thanks. It's the next day. Natsuki appears from around the corner and steps up into the vending machine, glancing at Yuri as she does. Today she seems to be holding some kind of book as well. Oh, you're here again. Well, I just came here to read this because there aren't any people around here. Oh, I thought you didn't like how quiet it was. Well, I don't, but there's no people here. I see. Natsuki sits down. The mood feels much different than it did yesterday. After yesterday's lunch and the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri are beginning to feel more relaxed around each other again. Although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki's mind, she continues to detour around it. But it's okay that I'm here? Yeah, I don't care. I mostly just don't feel like dealing with crap I get from my friends about it. Especially since, like, they all assume I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. Not that I'm trying to hide it from them exactly. But I just don't want it to come up now again after waiting so long for this new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. You don't have other friends who are into manga? Not unless online friends count. And Shiori, but that's different because she's not exactly into it, she just likes it, so, you know what I mean? Honestly, you're lucky that the books that you're into at least look like books, so you don't have to feel like everyone's constantly judging you by what you're reading. That would be so awful. Especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have this thick skin, I guess. By the way, I would totally recommend finding some friends online if you haven't already, if you're like me and have no one else to share hobbies with. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually. I was especially desperate back then. It's somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about those days. Sometimes I feel like the me from years ago would have benefited from a good smack across the face. Okay, whatever. We're all just stupid kids back then anyway. Some of the fanfics I wrote, thank God I used a pseudonym. But I liked it at the time. I got a lot of fulfillment out of it. And plus I can look back and say with confidence that I've become a better person since then. so I don't think I would change anything. I wonder if a few years from now we'll think the same thing about our current selves. Probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially someone who doesn't even exist yet. Huh. Alright, here. Natsuki raises her hand to her face and forcefully slaps her own cheek. That's me from the future coming to terms with me right now. Also, ow! I didn't mean to do it that hard. Yuri doesn't seem to react. But then, to Natsuki's surprise, Yuri shyly looked the other way before lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself, loudly smacking her cheek. She turns red and stares into her lap, but is unable to hide a smile as though it was a really funny joke. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't. I don't even know why I did that. Maybe I thought it would be funny? Sorry, I keep distracting you. You said you were looking forward to reading, but I keep going on about this nonsense. I'll let you get to your reading. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. The conversation ends quickly and Natsuki opens her book. The two read silently for the remainder of the lunch hour. The whole time, Yuri feels distracted by a twist of regret over having so abruptly forced the end of the conversation. You're back. Yeah, I'm here to lay low again. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki finds herself having wandered to the stairwell once more. Hey, did you buy that? Natsuki quickly notices the bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. What, like for me? But you didn't know I was coming here today. What if I didn't show up? Well, I would have drank it myself, I guess. It was a stupid thing to do. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought, never mind. What I meant to say is thank you. And that's a real nice gesture. It's okay if you don't feel that way. I do. It was the other thing that I didn't mean. I swear, please believe me. Yuri pauses, then nods. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot too, so I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief, and then sits down next to Yuri and takes the drink. Knowing Yuri, she was probably overthinking it so much that Natsuki's tepid response filled her with self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. Please don't feel obligated. I want to. I want to do nice things too. Okay, thank you. You can thank me after I figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. Just reminds me how I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. Is that why you've been coming here? Well, no, not exactly. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. There are just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. I like being around them when they're just having fun, but I also just can't take anything seriously. So when I'm, feeling serious, then their attitudes just get on my nerves. It's only gotten worse since I joined the literature club. How come? I don't know, I feel like I used to be really good with just putting up with it because it would be so stupid to cause drama over a joke that I didn't like or something. Huh. Twitch just died. Am I still live on YouTube? Okay, I guess Twitch is still up. It was just the player that died. I had to refresh. I'm presuming YouTube's still fine. I just have a hard time doing that lately. But it's my fault for being overly sensitive. If I have a problem, I'm not going to demand for everyone else around me to change. But, yeah, I know. Monica and Siori really don't agree with that kind of thing. But they're not in my position, so it's easy for them to say that you should just communicate your feelings or whatever. It's not like my friend group does that kind of thing. I would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, none of this has to do with you. I don't know why I'm talking about it. It's okay. I like listening. What? Listening to other people's problems? Yes. That's weird. Sorry. I just like learning about people. Do you think it's weird? No, that's not weird. I probably just misunderstood, so I don't know. Does that mean I should keep going? If you'd like. Okay. Well, I don't know what to talk about now. What are some things that you like about your friends? A lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with, like after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. It's fun to complain about school together. They make me laugh a lot, and we have a good memories and inside jokes. Oh, I'm bad at a lot of those things. So, Are those all things that are important to you? Well, kind of, but they're not things that I need to get out of everybody. Everybody in the club is really different from that, and I'm still friends with them too. Well, Shiori really likes your baking, and she makes you laugh, and she complains a lot. That doesn't mean she's like any of my other friends. Well, unlike them, she's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk that way about my friends that you don't know anything about? Natsuki stands up. No, wait. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. Natsuki sighs and shakes her head. It's fine, as long as you understand that you can't just judge people like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki sits back down. You just can't compare friends like that, like measure who's better than who. Everyone's different. I'm sorry. I just don't like people who want to hurt you. A moment of silence stretched between them. They don't want to hurt me. We just like to tease each other about stupid things. It's fun. I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. You like it? Just don't worry too much about me. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. I wish I knew how to help with social conflicts, like how Monica can. She's good at that thing. Not really. Also, I don't want any help. Sometimes it's just stuff I have to deal with myself. That's what Monica and Shiori never seem to understand. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong and they're like, oh, what's wrong? Is everything alright? I just want to mind my own business sometimes and decide myself if I want to talk about things. The only one who understands that is you. So you really shouldn't be so hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Oh, you don't need to reassure me or anything. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense that someone who doesn't talk a lot would make a good listener. Thank you. You're also nice. It's really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. It's so weird because I always thought of myself as someone who can just say whatever's on my mind, but I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed or upset, or I want to say something mean. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that. I'm just talking to myself. Yuri nods and remains silent. Natsuki notices her fidgeting with the pages of her book. How come you like reading so much? Oh, a lot of reasons. I just get sucked in so easily. It's so immersive. I want to be a part of it. I think there are a lot of things about people in real life that make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated. Especially when it comes to following social conventions and group interactions. I just don't really understand it and have no real desire to participate. But it's different with books. I feel like it's always wants to be around the characters. I feel such strong emotional connection with them in ways that I've never felt with real people. So in a way that sometimes can feel more real than real life. Really? Is that hard for you to be around people, like all the time? Fairly often, especially in group settings. When people are making all kinds of conversation and saying jokes and all of that, I don't know what to do. I just disengage. Oh, it doesn't get lonely? I don't think so. I can still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one, and I have online friends too, of course. Do you ever wish that you could be friends with the characters in their books? All the time. Sometimes so badly that it makes my heart ache. Yeah, me too. Really? A lot. Like, more than anything. After Natsuki mutters that, silence fills the stairwell once more. But it's a mutual silence. One full of understanding. Part 2. Hey! Oh, hello. I almost forgot you weren't coming today. Yeah, well, lunch is already more than halfway over. Natsuki had typically been meeting in the stairwell much earlier, since it had been a good way to dodging her friends when she didn't feel like seeing them. Today, she's holding a large plastic container in both hands. I ran into my friends, so I hung out with them for a while. Is that so? Yeah. I was in a good mood today, so I figured I should. I hadn't seen him in a while, which I had to come up with an excuse for, but I expected that. Plus, I have way more of these than I know what to do with, so I figured I would share with them too. As she sits down, Natsuki opens the lid of her container. You made cupcakes. You know it. It's been a while at this point, so I figured it was about time again. You can take one if you want. Yuri takes the cupcake and carefully twirls it between her fingers. It's brown with dark green frosting, immaculately shaped into a floral pattern, and the top with some kind of glittery powder. How pretty. I just ate it, so I might be able to finish it. I just ate, so I may not be able to finish it. Are they for the club? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't really think about it, I just made them. Ah, I just thought that because green is Monica's favorite color, right? Well, yeah, but that's not really... Yuri takes a small bite. This green is tea flavored. I love green tea. Oh, you do? It was just a random idea I wanted to try, so... Haha, don't laugh at me. I'm not. I just feel happy. Oh, sorry. Usually when... Never mind. What I mean is I'm glad. Sorry for saying dumb things again. I just wanted to do something nice. And this is something I happen to be good at. You know what? You like them. From past and I do know that you like them from past experience. Yuri turns red, recalling for the time she treated herself rather generously to Natsuki's cupcakes. Ironically, her mouth is too full of cupcake for her to stammer an excuse, so she just settles for a disapproving look. How'd you get into baking? Oh, well, I don't know. Kind of like always appealed to me. Just a few years ago, I read this one manga with a lot of baking, so I got super into it for a while. I was probably making stuff almost every day. But it's something that I always knew I liked anyway. Like, baking is art. But when you get good at it, it gets more delicious too. I'm struggling to imagine putting my heart into something so artistic, knowing that it'll just be eaten afterwards. Yeah, maybe you're too practical for it. I think I prefer to be on the receiving end. That's my other favorite part about it. It's something I can do that makes a lot of people happy, like unconditionally. Everyone is always so thankful, and that moment you get to be like the bringer of joy. I don't know, it just makes me feel valued? Yeah, I guess that. So you were able to make up with your friends today? It wasn't really anything to make up with them about. We weren't fighting or anything. You weren't? Maybe I misunderstood. It only turns into a fight if I lose my cool, and that's just unnecessary drama. It really makes things worse. So there's nothing to stop. I mean, it only happens sometimes anyway. It's just the way they are. I'm the only one who ever has a problem with it. It's not worth it. Especially when I have somewhere to go now when I don't feel like hanging out with them. Oh, I see. The cupcake's empty foil wrapper audibly crinkles as Yuri clenches a fist. I'm glad that the situation is resolved, and that you don't have to avoid them anymore. Yeah, me too. And I don't have to bother you during your alone time anymore. I'm sure you have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah. I know that the cupcakes are basically nothing compared to all the stuff you've done for me, but it's the best I can do, so you can have the rest of them. Natsuki grabs the box and slides over to Yuri's feet. Yuri stares at the box, then she shakes her head and slides them back. You should save them for your other friends, but I made them for you. Natsuki's voice whines as she protests. I know. I like them very much, especially as you thought. Exactly as you thought. You succeeded. But I know you care about making your other friends happy too. And if this is the way you know how to make them happy, then I'm not going to take it from you. No, they were for making you happy. You make me happy. You're worth more than cupcakes to some people. That's why they want to spend time with you and be your friend. Without warning, tears pour from Natsuki's eyes. She pulls her knees to her chest and starts sobbing into her arms. Natsuki? I'm such a bad person. Yuri stammers, feeling panicked. I didn't mean to say something bad. Natsuki shakes her head and wipes her eyes. You didn't. Natsuki tries to choke back her sobs, but struggles speaking through them. I just really hate myself sometimes. And it feels so wrong when you say those nice things to me, like I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm so difficult. And I can't think of a single thing about myself that someone would like. And I hated myself for bothering you during lunch. I just thought it was my chance to be a good person. Like to be nice and do the things you wrote about in the letter. I knew if I tried in the club, Shiori Monica would be super annoying and make a huge deal of it. You know, I think a lot about those negative things too, about myself. I never felt like a good person. I always scrutinize everything I say and later feel like I said the wrong things. I just spend so much time thinking about myself, hating myself, and feeling like everyone else must hate me too. So I understand some of that through my own experience. That's why I wanted to write the letter and express my feelings. It pained me to see those things in someone else that I saw in myself. Natsuki sniffles. Yuri rustles through her bag and pulls out some tissues, then hands them over to Nat. Monica told me that it takes a good person to reflect on these things. The desire to improve yourself that makes you a good person, so don't worry so much. Also, there are things about you, but people... blah. There are things about you that people would like, so... Like what? Like how you're fun for people to be around. And you're not shy, and you know how to make people laugh, and you're very passionate about things, and you know how to take the lead, and you care a lot about other people, and just a lot of things. Oh. Now you're making me feel really embarrassed. Well, you're the one who asked. And don't you think I feel embarrassed? Natsuki tries to hide a smile, then she sighs as it fades again. Every time I come here, I always think it's the last time, but then I keep coming back for some reason. Is that bad? It's just really confusing. I mean, my friends and I go way back, so ditching them all this time feels like, I don't know. Feels like what? Natsuki's voice gets quiet. Maybe I'm scared that they'll get mad at me. I really don't know what to do. She pauses. Yuri stares into the distance, tracing her eyes along the patterns of the floor tiles while she thinks to herself. What would you do, hypothetically, if your friends were happy for you instead of mad at you? Happy for what? Happy that your new club is making you happy. Well, that's just not a fair hypothetical. Natsuki says that, but with little confidence in her voice. I always told myself that I don't rely on the approval of others to be happy. And I still feel that way, but I'm spending time with people who put me down whenever I don't have their approval. That's probably what's making me feel so confused. Because I'm threatened out of the things that should make me happy. No matter what, it's like having to be unhappy to be happy. It's making my head hurt. That must make it really difficult to feel comfortable with yourself. Being made to feel like you're wrong just for being the person you are. It really goes against everything I believe in, doesn't it? It goes against the kind of person I want to be. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with a lot of things. Natsuki presses her palms into her forehead and shakes her head. I know what's best for me, I just keep convincing myself out of it. It's so much easier to be comfortably unhappy than it is to do something scary. To do what? You know, to end it. With them? Natsuki nods. I didn't think you were actively considering that as an option. I wasn't until recently. Just one of those things where, like, it's been a certain way for so long you just get used to it. Like, so much of you has gotten into it, so much it feels like it's how your life is. And throwing it away is like throwing away such a big part of your life. It makes me feel sick to think about. Natsuki sighs. It's just really scary and it's terrifying. What are you scared of? I don't know, a lot of things. Like being alone, not having anyone to talk to or hang out with, not being able to replace what I have with them. And I don't want them to hate me. And I'm scared that they'll hurt me for going against them. Physically? Not physically, but... Yuri clenches her fists. Natsuki, what? If anyone even thinks to cause you harm, I will unleash hell upon them. Natsuki snorts in laughter. Don't laugh at me. Oh, sorry, it was just... I like that. That's all. Oh, well, I meant it. I know you did. Natsuki gives Yuri an enduring look. I needed it. As the conversation lapses, Natsuki again slides her box of cupcakes over to Yuri. Just take them, okay? I don't want other people to have them anymore. Are you sure? Natsuki nods. I'm sure. I will then. I'll enjoy them. Natsuki looks away, but a feeling of warmth spreads through her. She holds that feeling, knowing that it'll give her courage. Oh, you're first here today. And you brought reading material. Natsuki is sitting in her usual spot, this time holding a volume of manga while her lunch sits beside her. Yuri sits down as well, opens her own book. It sucks when a good series has to come to an end. It's like such a big part of your life, and then one day there's just nothing left. It makes you feel so empty. Unfortunately, I'm about to experience that myself. I'm on the last book of the series. That sucks. But there's always also something satisfying about letting the story conclude. I don't know if I'd want it to go on forever. Maybe. But there are some things I wish could. On the other hand, have you ever read something that overstayed its welcome? Oh yeah, definitely. I can think of at least one thing I've read that's gotten pretty unbearable like halfway through and then the ending really sucked. No, it sucks when something good has to end, but it also sucks when they're just keeping inventing more plot until you don't like it anymore. I guess it sucks either way. Well, that's the nature of all things. They come to an end. The two fall silent. They slowly eat while making their way through their respective reading material. Except Natsuki doesn't seem to be touching her food at all. You don't go out during the weekends, right? Excuse me? Like with friends at the mall or downtown or whatever? I'm not a total shut-in, you know. Oh, my bad for making assumptions. Well, I'm sure I'd go out less than other people like you and the others in the club. I don't really meet with friends and arbitrarily spend time with them like that. I'm usually meeting with my board game group. Board game group? It doesn't matter. It's just more nerdy stuff. Why do you ask? I was just curious. I just realized I couldn't picture it, so I was curious. Yori looked at Natsuki and realized that she's shaking. Don't look at me like that. Sorry. Natsuki pulls her knees into her chest and pulls her head down. I can't take this. Did I do something? Yuri gets flustered, her mind racing over what she may have done or said. I did. I ended it. I texted them earlier telling them. And then I just blocked them because I'm so afraid of their responses. Now it feels like I'm dying inside. Oh, that's... I'm sorry. Totally unsure of what to do, Yuri can barely find any words of support to offer. Meanwhile, the sound of Natsuki's unusually hard breathing fills the air. Then she speaks again, barely above a whisper. Help me. I feel sick and I want to hit my head against things. Please help, I can't take this. You may be having a panic attack. With that realization, Yuri's demeanor suddenly changes. I have experience with this, so I'll help you through it, okay? Natsuki meekly nods through her rapid breath, head still buried in her knees. Yuri slides herself over to Natsuki and sits on the step behind her. Then she puts her hands on Natsuki's shoulders. Can you feel my hands? Natsuki nods. Her shaking becomes much more apparent than Yuri's sense of touch. Yuri keeps her voice low and gentle. You're safe now. You're in a good and safe place where nothing can hurt you. Natsuki nods once more. Although Yuri is only touching Natsuki's shoulders, she can practically feel her racing pulse through the base of her neck. We'll do a breathing exercise together. All you have to do is listen to my breaths, and then breathe along with me. Let's breathe in now. Yuri takes in a deep, slow breath. Beneath her hands, she feels Natsuki's shoulders rise as Natsuki takes a breath of her own, trying to mimic Yuri. They exhale together, although Natsuki's breath shakes on the way out. That's good. Let's keep going. Yuri breathes in once more, and Natsuki joins her. They continue like that for a few more cycles while Yuri closely monitors. Eventually, Yuri feels Natsuki rest more of her weight into Yuri's palms. Let's focus on the physical world. All you have to do is focus on the feeling of your breaths going in and out, and then the weight of my hands on your shoulders. You're in a safe and comfortable physical space. Minutes pass in silence. By now the worst of it has passed, but Yuri is determined to not move away until Natsuki prompts her to. Meanwhile, Natsuki has lifted her head off her knees. Her breathing has mostly steadied. Then she takes a final deep breath and slowly pulls herself onto her feet, causing Yuri to let go. She stretches her arms. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. I don't know what my deal is. You don't have to apologize. This must be enormously stressful for you. Is that going to keep happening? It may, or it may not. We can take measures to help prevent that in the future, but I think it'll naturally get better over time. Natsuki motions to sit back down again, so Yuri moves over. Yuri turns away to pick up her book from the dusty floor, which had hastily set down earlier. She brushes the dust off the cover. I don't think I could have gotten through that alone. You're not alone. Feeling shy again, Yuri speaks into her own lap. From now on, you don't have to do anything alone. As she says that, Yuri tenses up. It's rare for her to be to openly share her thoughts, but something about Natsuki, of all people, made it feel so much more natural to do. Perhaps because, like Yuri, Natsuki is so timid and uncertain of herself. Natsuki does such a good job of hiding it that it takes a long time for Yuri to finally realize it. And because of that, Yuri is able to deliver the reassurance that she herself would have wanted, demonstrating that you deserve the love of others. If you can accept that for the first time, then perhaps you can begin the tumultuous journey of learning to love yourself. I like that art. Do you really mean that? You're probably going to regret saying that if you do. How so? Because I'm probably going to have a lot of free time during the weekends from now on. So you're giving me permission to be as annoying as I want and drag you around to a lot of places. I see. But you already said it. You can't take it back now. Ah. Well, I suppose I have no choice but to accept that responsibility then. Mm-hmm. I know a good ice cream place. Oh? That means you'll finally figure out my favorite ice cream flavor. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, you don't remember? The first day you came to the club, you guessed everyone's favorite ice cream flavor, but for me you said you had no idea. Seriously? I don't remember that at all. Oh wait, yes I do. I said it was probably green tea. Yuri shakes her head. It's a good guess, but my favorite is usually going to get chocolate and raspberry together. Chocolate and raspberry. How fancy. How is that fancy? Oh, I don't know. Feels like I should have guessed something like that. Well, maybe next time we'll try chocolate and strawberry. Hey, strawberry's my favorite. Mm-hmm. What a coincidence. I think it helps to have something to look forward to. I still have the sick feeling in my stomach, but it's easier now to convince myself that I did the right thing. Is there anything better I could be doing? Not that I know of. There's nothing that'll make this easy for me. And you already did more than I thought anyone could. Come to think of it, we never talked about the letter you wrote. But I feel like we're way past that at this point. I don't really know what to talk about. Except I think it helped me understand my needs a little better. The way I like to be treated, and the kinds of friends that I want to have. That's why I wanted to start coming here in the first place, even though I was so scared of causing more problems. I thought it was a coincidence that you ran into me here initially. Oh, well, not exactly. What do you mean? Nothing. I may have tracked you down first, with the help of Sayori. That's what you said. I was shy, okay? I wasn't ready to, like, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Well, I guess I'm glad you worked up the courage. Even if it was on your way. In your own way. I can tell you've been making a lot of difficult decisions. It's brave, and will make things better in the long run. I think anyone would be proud of you for that. Anyone? You mean like you? Yes, like me. You know I could get used to this, as long as you don't tease me too much. Fine. Just a little then. That's fine. I know how uncertain everything feels to you right now, but I really do think good things are in store. Those are my honest feelings. Thanks. Feels nice to be reassured. The two girls continue their conversation through the remainder of lunch, but a new feeling hangs in the air, a feeling of greater uncertainty in their path forward. In just a few hours, there will be another literature club meeting where the 4 club members will happily spend time together. Each of them, with all their own special qualities, have something unique that they can deliver to one another. Through friendship and literature. I wasn't sure if through was the right word there, but I guess it was. Through friendship and literature, the club members will continue to grow and find a new happiness together. The end of each chapter is the start of the next, Yuri thinks to herself. Since she's about to finish a long-running series, it'll be best to have a new book lined up. Perhaps this weekend would be a good time to visit the bookstore. Together. Okay, then that opened up the last chapter equals. I need to take a small break, so I'm going to throw up the Be Right Back manner. and I'll be back in probably 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll read that last chapter. Oh, I just noticed that Tony Baker dropped some bits. So thanks for that. That was a while ago. Okay. The final side story equals. Okay, everyone, we're going to take a break from the usual activities today. I was thinking since people are starting to talk about the festival, it's a good time for us to go over the general direction of the club and all that. I think it'll help us figure out what to do for the festival, you know? Oh, Siori and I already came up with a real good plan. Really? For the festival? Yeah, so the plan is, okay, you and Yuri collect information ahead of time about which clubs and classes are doing for food booths. Then we take a map and plan the most efficient route so we can get the most of them before the lines get too long. That has nothing to do with the club. Well, you have to let me finish. Alright, fine, go ahead. Right, so basically we get all the food we can, when we come back here and we all eat together. That's all. Wow, I got tricked twice by the same joke. Boo, don't be a hater. It's not like you can come up with anything better. Look, even Yuri was thinking about it. What? No, I wasn't. I would really prefer to do something literature related. We can eat together anytime. The festival is a unique opportunity. Besides, it's been quite a while since we've seen any new interests in the club. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We really get a shot at showing people what the literature club is all about. I'll tell you what, we can do both, right? We'll make time for your food mission and still put together a public event. Oh my gosh, yes. I was just joking, but that's still a really good idea. Well, I'm glad that's settled. I think the question is how to come up with an event that demonstrates everything you can get out of the literature club. Well, that's kind of tough because everyone gets something different out of the club. Okay, how about this? Let's go around and have each other talk about what we've gotten out of the club so far. That could really help us figure out what kind of reputation we want to build. Yeah, that's too embarrassing. Oh, but you'd have so much to talk about. That's exactly why. And I'm sure Natsuki feels the same way. Well, maybe I didn't plan on arguing against it or anything. I mean, it is a literature club. We talked about that stuff together, right? And the only way to get more comfortable with it is to suck it up and do it. Oh, you're not wrong. I'm sorry for being resistant. It's not good to say suck it up because it sounds like their feelings doesn't matter. Right, my bad. It's just a habit I need to break. Well, anyway, who's going to start? I'll start. I was the first to join after all. Haha, wouldn't that be me? No, I want to go first. Fine, fine. You can start. I don't mind. Hey, we have Monica. Monica's in the chat. Yay! So, gosh, it feels like so long. I think I joined because I wanted to have fun sharing poems with people. It seemed like it would be a safe way to express myself, you know? Like if it's just a poem, I can share it without feeling like I'm burdening everyone with my problems. And I thought it'd be a really good way to get to know other people too. So yeah, I was really surprised when I walked in and it was just Monica. And she was sleeping. Don't remind me of that. Oh gosh. Yeah, it seemed like so much of fun to help start a new club. Especially since writing helped me so much, I wanted to see it help other people too. But it ended up being me who was inspired, because I remember feeling like Monica was just so sweet and mature and that I could trust her with anything. It made me feel a lot less alone, having someone who knew even the bad things about me. And at that point, I knew the literature club was going to be special for a lot of people. Yeah, I felt the same. It really helped me give the club a more cohesive vision. Yeah, and then Yuri joined, but she was so different from us, and Natsuki too. I think for Yuri, it really helped for me to take the lead before she was able to open up a little. But Natsuki was kind of the opposite. She wasn't ready to get really close to someone really quickly. I never really thought about that sort of thing. I really feel like I've gotten better at understanding people's different needs. And it makes me really happy, because friends are just the most important thing to me. And whatever new members we get, I want to help them in those ways too. I don't know if I would have continued coming to the club if it weren't for you. Really? Mm-hmm. I know it wasn't too long ago, but it hurts to think about my behavior back then. I was really short-sighted. The only reason why I came to find others who were into fantasy, I suppose that was my idea of making friends with people. And I remember feeling uncomfortable because you and I have such different energy. I had such a specific idea of the kind of person I would be friends with, so when Shiori tried so hard to get to know me, I felt like I was wasting her time. I think I was naive to assume that similar interests were the key component of friendship. Shiori and I were able to be friends because she always thinks about the needs of other people. That's something I never knew how to do or even thought to do. But I stayed in the club, and thanks to that I started trying as hard as I could to understand people better. You really went above and beyond when it came to that. I was super impressed. Well, I always hated that I didn't know how to behave like a person who's easily liked by others, like the two of you can. And because of that, I spent so much time thinking about my own behavior and all the wrong things I said. But the whole time I should have been thinking about other people instead, not myself. Once I started doing that, I was able to make friends with everyone else. Oh, also, I discovered that sometimes I'm a better communicator when I take the time to write rather than speak. It's so strange the way things turned out, so it's far different from anything I ever would have expected. But I'm happy. I suppose we don't always know what we really need. Oh my gosh, you're so cute that I'm going to throw up. Please don't do that. Besides, I'm not cute. Hey, isn't that my line? Oh, well, for me it's actually true, so what are you saying? Nothing? I finished my part, so someone else take their turn. My heart, Shiori. 6 and deep breaths. Okay, fine, I'll go. Yuri, I can't believe you were complaining about doing this and still went before me. What a show off. I was just following up on Shiori. It was the easiest way to get it over with. Besides, you left out the most important thing you got out of the club. I did? Yeah, the regular supply of your favorite cupcakes. Oh no, I forgot that too. I'm a traitor to the Cupcake Queen. Neither of you are forgiven. Looks like only Monica will be eating cupcakes next time. No! I can't eat that many. Yeah, true. Only Yuri can. Hey! Well, anyway, I'm just putting off talking. It's kind of hard to talk about this stuff, but I guess what it comes down to is that I'm in a much better place mentally than I was when I first joined. And it's because everyone helped me realize that I had some really toxic friendships going on outside the club. It was honestly a really painful thing to go through, having to cut them out. It still hurts to think about it. I'm sorry, Natsuki. It's fine. I knew it was for the best and I was right. I guess for me it's all about feelings. I was only ever ridiculed for having feelings, so I thought the right thing to do was to just ignore them. It took me a really long time to realize that it's not really how things are supposed to work. And I guess that's thanks to everyone who took the time to respect my feelings, and when I was being like that, the biggest jerk. I'm real sorry for being such a jerk to everyone. I was really the worst. Natsuki's voice chokes a little. We love you, Natsuki. I just hate what I was like. Everyone did so much for me, and I could never do anything in return. That's not true, Natsuki. You've done a lot more than you think. This club really wouldn't have been the same without you, I mean that. Remember how judgmental I was when you first showed up? I was like, I couldn't accept anything other than my own idea of what a literature club was supposed to be. Apparently that was more important to me than the opportunity to bring you some happiness. You really taught me that anything that makes someone happy is worthy of respect. You even inspired me to start playing piano. That's something that means a whole lot to me. So there's no need to put yourself down. Okay. Natsuki wipes her eyes, and I have a phone call.
Call from Missy Elster.
You helped me a lot too. So much to have you around. And you helped me become a better person. Having a problem doesn't make you needy or inconvenient. It means that there's something that needs to be better. It means that there's something that needs to be better for you, and you always deserve that. I agree. Seeing us have some of the same struggles made me a better person as well. I wouldn't want to change anything about our time here. I don't think any of us would. I'm sorry I got all dramatic again. That's all I wanted to say. Someone can go now. There's no need to apologize. That was something I wanted to talk about anyway, because it made a big difference for me. I was always such a strict perfectionist who never took enough time to believe the best of other people in the best of other people. But everyone kept proving me wrong. I made the mistake multiple times, thinking that my way was the best for everyone. Or thinking that I was needed to solve other people's problems. But I think being a leader means that you have to acknowledge that you're not perfect, and that's the best thing you can do to help guide people, rather than to do everything for them. We're all good people, we're all equals. I think that's the most important thing I've gotten out of the club, realizing what it really means. Shiori, what are you doing? I just thought that we should be writing some of these things down. Things about the club that are valuable to us. With a piece of chalk in her hand, Shiori writes the word trust on the chalkboard. This is because you showed that I could trust you with everything about me, not just my good side. Suddenly, Yuri takes a piece of chalk as well. She writes understanding. These are the names of the stories, aren't they? I owe a lot of gratitude to everyone who took the time to understand me, even though it was so difficult for me to express myself. In that case, Monica takes a piece of chalk as well and writes the word respect. I always thought I was a respectful person, but it took the club for me to realize that there were more to that than I thought, and I'm a better person because of it. I have another one. Shiori writes balance. Sometimes people want different things out of a friendship, or they need time before they're ready to become close. So it's important to keep things balanced between you and the other person. That reminds me, Yuri writes reflection. I've always been a reflective person, but most of it has been nothing more than hating myself for all the things I thought I did wrong. Once I started reflecting on other people, and not just myself, a lot of things changed for me. So I think that's the most important one for me. That's great. We have a whole list of things now. Suddenly everyone turns to look at Natsu. Well, everyone took all the chalk. Don't look at me like that. Jeez. You could have just asked. Monica hands her a piece of chalk to Natsuki. Then Natsuki sighs and writes self-love. I don't know how far I've gotten with it yet, but it feels like things are at least on the right track. So there, that's my contribution. Together, everyone stares at the words on the board. Wasn't this club supposed to be about literature? It is. We still do a lot of literature. Friendship and literature. Yeah, you're right. Friendship and literature. Natsuki and Yuri gently nod as well. Hey, let's all take a picture together. We don't have one yet, right? Hey, you're right. Make sure you send it to me after. Wait, can I brush my hair first or something? Oh, you're fine. You already have the best hair out of all of us. Everyone get together. I can't fit you all in. Okay. Okay, everyone ready? And click. I'm really glad we talked about this stuff. It's easy to forget how far we've come with only 4 members. Yeah. I have so many happy thoughts right now. Happy thoughts. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. If you know the main game and kind of the hidden secrets within it, you'd understand that. Which reminds me, I plan on doing a video on secrets in the game. That'll be posted later this week. So, watch for that. I'm getting some really good inspirations for a poem. You know, I feel the same way. I kind of want to get some writing done. Me too. I think I would like that as well. Everyone's looking at me again. I'll do it too, but I might not feel like sharing it. That's okay. The 4 members of the literature club disperse and return to their desks, each equipping themselves with a pen. Natsuki and Yuri give each other a quick glance and start writing immediately. Shiori stretches, then does the same. But Monica is left tapping her pen against the paper, unsure of where to start. Just move your hand. Monica mouths to herself. Right the way into your heart. Her mind full of thoughts, memories, and inspiration, Monica navigates past her mental barriers and begins to write. It doesn't matter what, just that it's something new. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Oh, credit roll. I guess we're done. This is a new track. I don't think I've heard this yet. So, okay, so while this is going, I'll talk about what we're going to do next. Later tonight, Marty is starting a series of live streams called Metroid Mondays. I think they'll be starting at 7 o'clock Central. And he'll be starting with Zero Mission. I think he plans on playing the first 4 games in order throughout the month. So he actually, he dusted off his Wii U and rearranged his streaming setup so he can do this. So come back later tonight for that. Then, as I was planning on doing a video of the secrets of the files in the game. I've found a few of them, and it looks like it'll lead to, as I open up more files, it'll lead to more. So I've actually stopped myself from doing it so I can kind of live react, at least on what some of the things that are discovered, presuming that it does chain into additional secrets. And then after that, I probably will do another video of secrets that can be found while you're playing the main game. That I was so that will probably be the later of the videos I plan on doing. Made with love by Team Salvato. So I still have things I want to do with this game before I'm completely done with it. I think I'm 100% completion of all the images and data collections now. I'll check that off when I'm done with streaming. Actually, I can bring that up here. Settings. Yeah, 100%. So I have done 100% of the things that I can do with the game. So the finding those extra secrets in the files is optional. So I'll be making a video that'll be out later this week talking about those. That wraps up almost hour 45. So almost 2 hours for this one. So that wraps up the series of side stories. I'll probably make a new playlist just for these 3 episodes. Can't think of anything else to say. Again, come back tonight for Marty's playing Metroid Zero Mission, and then we have our normal show Thursday night. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later.